the puzzle of human influence, mapping the dynamics of macroscopic, microscopic, and epigenetic interactions in air. Air pollution is one of the most serious environmental problems of our time. Affecting millions of people all around the world, it is one of the world's leading risk factors of death, contributing to 11.65% of death globally. It's the presence of harmful substance in the air that can damage human health and the ecosystem. But how did this happen? Where did it all go wrong?
It all begins in the oxygen cycle. The, ox- the oxygen cycle is a biochemical cycle required to maintain the concentration and levels of oxygen in the atmosphere. It portrays how the flow of oxygen occurs through several parts of our vast ecosystem. It's an important process that keeps the balance just right for life on Earth. It is how we breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Starting with plants in the presence of sunlight, the plants take in carbon dioxide through photosynthesis, which releases oxygen molecules in the atmosphere. We humans and animals breathe in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, which plant which plants which the plants absorbs, forming an exchange between plants and aerobic forms of life. This demonstrates the oxygen and carbon cycles occur independently and are interrelated. The carbon cycle is the continuous movement of carbon atoms from the atmosphere to the Earth and subsequently back into the atmosphere.
The anthropogenic effects. As time passes by, people continue to strive and create more advanced technology to improve their way of life and make things easier for them. They create machines that combust harmful pollutants that affect the atmosphere. The results in the rise of air pollution and global warming, which slowly contributes to the worldwide phenomena climate change. Because of this, it abnormalizes flow of the oxygen cycle due to the influx of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Having too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere also affects life forms that provide oxygen despite it benefiting from it. Harmful substances such as ground level ozone and other harmful pollutants we breathe in have a visible impact in plant leaves. They can cause chlorosis, or they may even turn leaves yellow, which decreases the concentration of chlorophyll. Consequently, the plant isn't able to produce its own food or energy and may even die. The energy generated by human beings disrupts the thermal balance of the earth. This energy did not exist before the advent of civilization. It, practical, it practically does not affect the thermal radiation of the planet and dissipates in the atmosphere in the form of heat, increasing the kinetic energy of gas molecules and consequently their temperature. Since air molecules cannot leave the Earth due to gravity, excess heat accumulates on the planet and contributes to global warming. A quantitative assessment of the effect is given. It is like the energy generated by humanity hits the atmosphere as a furnace hits a dwelling.
Climate change involves alterations in critical environmental factors such as temperature, air quality, food availability, and water quality and availability. Change in these environmental factors has been shown to have dramatic alterations in the epigenetics, physiology, and phenotypes of all organisms examined. The presence of too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere made plants' leaves thicker. When plants have excess carbon dioxide, it can cause the leaves of the plants to stop functioning properly, which can lead to a decrease of photosynthesis, which could kill the plant. The rise in temperature also negatively affect the plants, where water evaporates far faster due to the heat.
Due to numerous catastrophic effects that human beings have caused, are we an invasive species? Before we answer this question, we must first determine as to what makes something invasive. To be considered invasive, a species must be non-native to the ecosystem, adapt to the new area quickly, reproduce quickly, and harm natives in the region. From this criterion, it can be said that human beings have effectively become an invasive species, taking over the homes and resources of animals across the globe. People continue to expand into new lands and territories to compensate for the ever growing population of humanity, converting natural land into cities with homes, offices, shopping centers, roads, and more. This, called urbanization, we are displacing countless species from their natural habitats or forcing them to adapt to new environments. As our world grows, so does our economies and trade market, creating the issue of global shipping practices, industrial globalization, maritime shipping, which have all led to deadly consequences for marine species, specifically marine giants. While some may argue urbanization and industrial globalization have advanced our society, few can say the same about wildlife tourism, amplified through social media. The desire to observe and photograph animals in their natural habitat can create a dangerous cycle for these species. Despite living in the wild, all of these animals are continuously being encroached on by humans through our global development and for our own entertainment.
So, what can we do to minimize the impact of human activities? Despite the impacts we have caused, there are still ways in which these impacts can be minimized. To live more in harmony with the habitat, there must be sustainable human development, focusing not only on society's needs but also on taking into consideration of the threshold of the planet's ecosystem. Exploiting non-renewable resources alters the habitat in an unsustainable way, and unrestricted human activity threatens not only the surrounding biodiversity due to climate change but also human life itself. The best way to develop a more sustainable relationship with the planet and the ecosystem is to phase out fossil fuels and further the development and utilization of clean, renewable energy. Moreover, promoting education alongside science and technology is increasingly important to help understand efficient utilization of natural resources and promote human awareness and participation in environmental education and living. Lastly, shifting to sustainable agricultural practices and promoting nature based solutions for urban areas are extremely important steps to tackle the increasing human population and the consequential increase in consumption globally. Again, we are Group 2, and thank you so much for listening.